you'll notice right away is I include a micro SD card and an SD adapter, and this is specific towards Garmin. Lowrance has the same scenario, but typically they're put together because most Lowrance units require the SD card. We don't know in this case which of the specific GPS types you're going to have. So if you're using a newer style Garmin that takes a micro SD card, you insert the SD card directly into the GPS. If you happen to have one that requires a SD card, so all you do is insert the micro SD card into the SD adapter, and now you're ready to be used in a GPS that requires an SD card. Now to insert this into your GPS, every GPS is different. On the GPS I'm using right here, it is right on the side. So all I have to do is place this in. In this case it goes in this direction. I insert and I push until it clicks. Now by doing that, my GPS automatically is loading up. Once I have ND tracks put into my GPS, there's nothing else I have to do except use my map as normal. My Garmin is now showing me my game management units in North Dakota, as well as some of my key cities. And if I really want to know exactly what unit I'm in, I can keep zooming into an area and get down in way tight and make sure I'm clicking on an area where it just is white and nothing else, and it tells me I'm in 2K2 at that point in time. That's a very neat, unique feature on a Garmin GPS as well. As I'm zooming back out, you're seeing my roads appear, and I actually zoomed out too far so they disappeared again. You're seeing a railroad go across this area. You're seeing wetlands, which is a North Dakota specific feature, but you're seeing your roads and trails and your public lands here as well. If I go over to an area of public land, like this one right here, and I get into the area and I click on it, it then tells me that's plots. That's private land open to sportsmen. That's a walk-in access program for North Dakota, and is considered in that case in public land. If I move over a little bit further, I see I have another public area here, and I click on that. That's Wildlife Production Area, WPA, and available to me. I'm going to keep moving over here. I see a couple of the land elements. I can zoom into this area and click on this light blue, and if you're familiar with the BLM map, that's state land. That's school lands, state sections. Now Montana has a very unique feature that no other state has, and that's that I show all the private land and who owns it across the entire state of Montana. But for the other states, I also have options. So if I zoom in here, once I get my GPS to 0.2 miles of zoom, the section lines appeared. And in the middle of the section, it says T152N R74W S35. That's Township 152 North, Range 74 West, Section 35. Now if I have a county atlas or plat book, I can find out exactly who owns that piece of land. So let's say, for instance, I want to go hunt western North Dakota, which is very popular. It's an area called the Badlands. Let's zoom out to that area. And now I'm getting into that specific area. I'm seeing my park areas. I'm seeing an area called the Little Missouri Grasslands, all showing up in this part of the screen. As I keep on zooming further and further in, more and more detail is beginning to appear. My rivers and streams are starting to show up as well. And if I go in even further, I start getting into my trails that exist on here. Here are my trails I go through. This is not just for hunting and or fishing, it's also for hiking, biking, camping, and many other key things as well. Now for North Dakota, Minnesota, and in some cases Montana, this also has lake contours associated with it if you happen to be a dedicated fisherman. So I'm going to go to an area of North Dakota called Devil's Lake, which is a very popular fishing destination. And to go there, I'll just keep hitting plus until I get into the lake area, and you can see the lake area starting to appear at this point in time. And as I zoom in, my lake contours are going to start to appear. My boat ramps, other key areas such as recreational fish, you can see I've got a boat ramp right up here. And I can keep going to that area and keep zooming in, and my contours will get more and more vivid as I keep getting tighter and tighter. And now my depths are starting to appear automatically on my GPS and all my key points of interest associated with fishing in this lake. So again, this is an all-around map. Hunting, fishing, hiking, biking, camping, all by simply inserting a TRAX map into your GPS. The last thing I want to show on a Garmin GPS is the ability to actually turn on and off layers. This is a Garmin unique feature. If I choose Tools, and this will vary depending on your GPS, but they're pretty similar, and then choose Settings, And if I scroll down and I choose map, I can set a variety of different things on this GPS. One of the areas at the very bottom is an area called info. And when I bring this up, I'm now showing my different layers I have on this specific map. And you'll see things such as sections, roads major, roads minor. I keep going down on my list here, wetlands, water, land, all these different elements, and I can turn them on and off simply by clicking. So in an instance, maybe you want to go hunting, you don't care about any of the water data that's out there, you could turn off the water in wetlands, for instance, depending on what type of species you're going out after if you're doing some hunting. This gives you a great deal of flexibility to really customize this map to show the elements that you wish to show specific to the TRAX series. From a Lowrance standpoint, very similar, except it looks a little bit different. So I see my game management units throughout the state here, and I can see happens to be Montana. I'm in zone 412. If I come in and zoom in, my major roads start to appear, and then my land starts to appear. So in this area I'm at right here, I end up having some state areas, some BLM areas. I have a stream coming through here. I have some minor roads that are coming through this area as well. And you can find out what these areas are by simply moving your cursor to those areas, and it tells you the feature name if it happens to have a name. TRAX PC is very simple to install. Insert it into your CD-ROM, double-click setup.exe. It'll bring up your setup wizard. Click Next, read your disclaimer, choose Accept, choose Next, Install, and in just a few seconds the install is finished. At that point in time, we go ahead and choose Start, Programs. We choose our TRAX PC folder, and we've got a variety of options in here. So we can go ahead and choose to install Google Earth if we don't have it installed. There's some additional maps in here. We've got our help file. We also have our ability to launch our specific map that we're looking for. Choose to launch your map, and Google Earth will launch. Upon entering Google Earth, you have total control over the different elements you want to appear. That includes your different land types and even the land labels. We're going to go ahead and zoom into the area of western North Dakota called the Badlands. And one of the very exciting features of Google Earth is to be able to turn on the terrain mode or 3D mode and be able to see this with the actual elevation that exists. The land and borders stay true, and this is a very powerful feature. Another cool feature is being able to choose a transparency. I choose a land element or elements I wish, simply lower the transparency or increase and adjust it automatically. Depending on your state, all the states have the game management units, but in some states there are different management units for different species. Your TRAX PC map may include this ability. The one I'm showing at this point in time has a differentiation between the elk units and the mule deer units.